Now, on a more serious note, CFM welcomed 2021 with a new set of officers in the persons of Bernie and Yoldi Quinto, Clayton and Toto del Castillo, Jake and Gina Tan, and Kim and Fernan Launio, who unselfishly gave of their yes as servant leaders despite these trying times. We all thank them for their fiat. Indeed, as we receive blessings that come in different packages, we are also gifted to give. Truly, the mark of an authentic leader is the capacity to share one's self against all odds, beyond one's comfort zone. Today, we are honored to call on a couple who try their best to be an epitome of such kind of leadership, always in conformity with that of our Lord's. Let us all welcome Bernie and Yoldi Quinto, our diocesan director couple.
Mayong aga sa tanan.
Maayong aga sa tanan.
Good morning. Can you hear us? Okay, no? This is Yol.
And this is Bernie.
It is our privilege and pleasure to welcome all of you today to our CFM Diocesan Virtual Assembly. We are delighted to see faces we love so dearly and to be reunited through this virtual gathering. Abi nyo, nagahabok gid ang akong dughan sa kalipay sa pagkakita ko sa inyo tanan. Madamo gid nga salamat sa pagtambong. No? In a special way, we also thank the support of our national president, led by Tito Boy and Tita Agnes Yambao. Thank you also for all the CFMers who are joining us today from all over the Philippines. For almost 2 years, CFM Bacolod was journeying in a difficult situation due to this pandemic. We thought of having the assembly for us to stop for a while, to refuel and be rekindled, and to be guided in carrying out our mission.
Today is a gathering of insights, showcasing of talents, listening to inspiring ideas and speakers, and appreciating those people who have touched our lives and have transformed our hearts through CFM. As our theme states, gifted to give. It is but fitting and proper to give thanks to God, to give thanks to people who have selflessly worked hard to mold us to where we are now. To give thanks to challenges, successes, trials, and strength, which made each CFM member tough, but full of love and full in faith.
We are honored to have two bishops today, Bishop Pat Buzon and Bishop Jerry Alminasa, who gladly said their yeses to our invitation. Let us prepare ourselves to be challenged and inspired by them.
We are grateful for wala nagakaubos nga talent sa atong mga saviors, sa atong CFMers, and the affirming recognition we have with our diocesan level Ulirang Pamilya Awardee. It is through all of these vessels of grace that we are gifted to give. On behalf of the officers of the CFM Bacolod, it is a wonderful and heartwarming feeling to see so many of you today. Welcome.
At this point, we will be presenting to you the output from our special unit meetings that we had in preparation for this Diocesan Assembly.
As preparation for the Diocesan Assembly, CFM units in Bacolod came up with a special unit meeting guide and had been meeting for the last 2 weeks on the theme Gifted to Give.
As we deepen on the theme, we tried to reflect on God's mercy, the gifts that we receive because of His mercy, and how to share our giftedness to others. God's mercy is evident in the sharing that indeed, mercy is God's identity card. God has been merciful, loving, and kind to all of us despite our weaknesses, our shortcomings, and our failure to acknowledge His presence. God's mercy is all over, in our place of work or business, in our individual lives, in our marriages, in the raising of our children. His mercy became more tangible when some of us lost our spouses. When we thought we would not be able to survive the loss, God was there with His merciful love. We would not have reached our age and the number of years of marriage without God's mercy. It is because of God's mercy that we learn to be totally dependent on Him. We could not exist without God's mercy. Each of us have went through trials and difficulties, be it health problems, financial problems, relationship problems. In whatever afflictions we have, we pray for God's grace of mercy, and He has given it to us. As Father Emil Henares once said, God's judgment is mercy. All of what and who we are is a testament to God's mercy.
Gifts that we receive. A handful of gifts were also apparent in the sharing. Most of these gifts, when experienced, become self-explanatory. These are the gift of prayer life, the gift of enriched and strengthened marriage and family, the gift of friendship, which is formed within the unit and among the members, the gift of community, the gift of God's presence, the gift of an organization, the CFM, the gift to feel for others and with others. In our gratitude to God, we can share His mercy and joy by being more forgiving to others, especially to the people who have hurt us, by being more compassionate and more patient, being more forgiving and loving.
This means we have to share our giftedness. What we receive as gifts, we share as gifts. So, let us continue our witnessing as testimony to God's blessings and mercy. Ipangabuhi naton ini by being good husbands, wives, children, siblings, parents, and friends. Live simply and honestly. Continue the mission of evangelization. Fully embrace the charism of CFM. We have to return to our regular unit meetings. Serve the parishes and the community. Let us try to bring the CFM values and way of life to other groups we are involved in. Revitalize CFM programs. Join or conduct periodic formation and deepening sessions. We have to campaign to vote for good leaders, reinvent ourselves, and adopt new ways. And lastly, we have to bring CFM to social media, learn the basics of virtual means. The deepening on the theme of this year's assembly, made us look back and realize how we have been gifted. It also enabled us to look forward how we can share our giftedness to others. With all that was shared, we can say that we have grown so much because of CFM. What we have been given will never be lost.
With this, we can say that we are with the loving people who are ready to serve the church and the community. We are with the right movement, and that CFM is in the right direction.
Padayon CFM.
It was in early March of 2021 when the new set of CFM officers came to have a courtesy meeting with him. It was a visit of getting to know, a visit of laying down our plans, and of support from him. A visit which opened possibilities and dreams for better marriages and families in the parishes of Bacolod. CFM is very blessed to have him on the occasion of our Diocesan Assembly. Our dear CFMers, let us all welcome the 6th Bishop of the Diocese of Bacolod, Bishop Patricio Buzon, SDB, DD.
To all our dear CFMers in the Diocese of Bacolod, my warmest congratulations and best wishes on your Diocesan Assembly. The theme you have chosen, Gifted to Give, is not only inspiring, but I think most fitting because indeed you are greatly blessed and abundantly gifted. And so it's just proper that you also abundantly share your giftedness. As Jesus tells us in the Gospel, freely you have received, freely give. We know that you have taken your theme from our year-long celebration of 500 years of Christianity. And what we are celebrating in this 500 YOC, we call, is the gift that we have received from God 500 years ago, which I personally believe is the greatest gift God has ever given to us as a people, as Filipinos, which is the gift of faith. And how do we celebrate this meaningfully, this 500 years of Christianity? The church has taught us that basically this celebration is one of thanksgiving and sharing. So this year, our celebration is one of thanksgiving, for indeed God has been so merciful, so good in giving us this gift of faith. And sharing, because as I said, a gift freely received is to be freely given also. And I would just like to share a message with you that in line with your theme, that you find ways of sharing the gift of faith. The larger motto we have is Missio ad Gentes, and it's the dream of the Philippine Church that this gift we received 500 years ago, we could share with our neighboring Asian countries, because we are the only Christian country in this part of the world. But of course, in our situation, for instance, I hope some of you as CFMers, families, can go out of the country and do mission. I know that other groups like the Couples for Christ, the Missionary Families for Christ, they're all over the world. No? But we don't have to go that far. And my message is just do that evangelization first, starting in your own home. You know, dear parents, that you are the first catechists, evangelizers of your children. Live that mission. Don't deprive yourselves of that privilege to be the first catechists of your own children. And it's beautiful what Pope Francis reminds us also. Let the children catechize you also. The children can evangelize also their own parents and families. We know the beautiful story of Carlo Acutis, newly proclaimed blessed, I think last year. He was a teenager. He died young and a very, very lively teenager, a millennial really. And he himself said that it was he who brought his own parents to the church because his family was not a practical and not a practicing. They were Catholics, but they were not practicing their faith. And he was the one who brought his parents to church on Sundays and eventually lived their faith. And this was the testimony precisely of his mother during the process of canonization. So the evangelization can take place in our homes. And then go out of your homes, get involved in the parish, in your respective parishes, especially in the Family and Life ministry. I have, since last year, I have started the pastoral visitation of our parishes, and unfortunately, this COVID-19 has stopped everything, and I hope to resume when things get better. But I've practically covered almost half of the diocese. In my visit to the parishes, I realized, and very sadly, that this Family and Life ministry is in a very sad state in most of our parishes. In this ministry, there are only 2 or 3 couples involved, and basically practically they only give pre-Cana seminars, and beyond that, wala na. And the family is all over the parish, and family life is wala. Our families grow, but there is no ministry among them. And I know that the CFM has beautiful programs for of formation, for instance, of how to live your marital life, your family life, and you can share that in our parishes. And I really challenge you, especially in this year, when you want to share the gift of faith. This is the most, I think, a most practical way of living this beautiful theme that you have chosen, gifted to give. And then finally, I think the best way you can share the gift of faith is by letting it shine. Let your love as couples, as family, truly shine. And let the joy of your love flow from your own families to the families around you. This year, the Holy Father has proclaimed us the year of Amoris Laetitia. That's a document that I think is the post-synodal exhortation of Pope Francis that he wrote after the 2 synods on family. And it's a treasure. Very rich teachings and insights from the Holy Father on how to live our family life and the mission of every family. I exhort you to study this very, very precious document so that your understanding of family and your mission as family will be deepened. And then you're better guided in this beautiful apostolate of family and life. And finally, I take this occasion to thank you, CFM Bacolod, for the great work you do for our diocese. I feel that very much, especially I know that in some parishes you are very much involved. The family programs in some of our parishes are your own programs that you share with our parishioners, with our katilingbans even. But then I also see the great help you do to the diocese. As I sit in the tribunal, I realize that many of the couples helping us in the tribunal are CFMers, and because you are, and rightly so, because you are very competent in this field, and I think that's also definitely because practically many of you are graduates of our John Paul II Institute of Family. This is the pride of our diocese, and the bulk. I feel that the bulk of the staff and also of those that make this institute truly alive, not only here in Bacolod but all over the Philippines, because we have students from all over come from the CFMers, and definitely we owe a great debt of gratitude to the founder of this institute, Mons Vic Rivas, that maybe also it's a good occasion to remember him and thank him. The CFM, I think also, I don't know very much the history, but I know that he has been with you from the very beginning. And maybe in this assembly, we again take time to remember him and thank him for the great work he did with you. And through this work, the great work that you're doing for the diocese. So once again, best wishes on your diocesan assembly, and thank you for all the good that you do to our diocese. And God bless you.
Thank you, Bishop Pat, for your inspiring message, for reminding us that freely you have received, freely give. Grant us the grace, O Lord, to embrace this as we continue to become family missionaries in the various mission fields we are challenged to tread. Bishop Pat, please accept this certificate of recognition and appreciation. This certificate reads, Christian Family Movement, Diocese of Bacolod, Certificate of Appreciation is presented to Most Reverend Patricio Buzon, SDBDD, Bishop, Diocese of Bacolod, for sharing his valuable time and meaningful insights during the Diocesan Assembly of the Christian Family Movement, Bacolod, given this 8th day of August 2021 in Bacolod City, Negros Occidental. Signed, Bernie and Yol Di Quinto, Diocesan Director Couple, and Reverend Father Salvador Barcelona, Diocesan Chaplain. Thank you once again, Bishop Pat.